Good morning, folks. January 3rd, 2022. Man, my first Facebook Live. What aren't you going to do in 2022? Well, apparently, what I'm not going to do is turn off my notification for when my wife texts me in the middle of a Facebook Live. So if you hear some beeps, well, you hear some beeps. A lot of people obviously do New Year's resolutions. I do New Year's resolutions, although I don't do them quite the way I used to do them. But it's a good time to do goals just in general. Some people refuse, and that's fine. But those resolutions, for the most part, tend to be exactly what we aren't going to do in 2022, what we don't do in the year. In fact, I think there's a date sometime in February where officially all the New Year's resolutions are done for the year and they'll never be accomplished. Of course, there are always a few that we do, right? That you find a way to make happen. A lot of times it's low-hanging fruit. It's easy stuff to make happen. I put easy stuff in my resolutions just so that I can cross it off by the end of the year. Last year, of course, I didn't do much. I did list in another post a summary of what I did do, reading books, and I forgot all about all the Facebook Lives. I did well over 150 Facebook Lives. But mostly last year, just like 2020, was a year of survival. I had somebody ask me how I kept track of everything. Well, I write things down, either on paper or on Evernote, which is just a notes program. You just type it in, and you can have it all there. And there's plenty of other programs to use, but for the most part, just using a yellow pad is good enough for me, or a word processing program of some other type. What aren't you going to do in 2022? The key here is taking things away that you have been doing that haven't been helping you. That's really the point. It's not meant to be discouraging and saying, hey, you can set all these goals and you won't do them. It's what can you take out of your life that will help you achieve your goals. And they say the best way to change your habit is to replace that bad habit with a good habit. Well, think about this. If you want to do new things in 2022, that means you have to make time for them. And that means getting rid of things you've been doing instead. Maybe that's video games. Maybe that's watching TV. Maybe it's sleeping too much. Maybe it's complaining. I know for me, what I did just in the last 24 hours is I left a Toastmasters group. I've been a member of 3 Toastmasters groups, including one that I coached for the last year and a half. Well, my coaching assignment's been long over, and I've tried to stay with the group. But, it's a Wednesday night, and I need that time. And I hate to leave the group, but yeah, I'm leaving the group. I'm still going to stay in my other 2 Toastmasters groups, and I'm still going to hang around in general to Toastmasters around the world as I can. But being dedicated to 3 groups is just one group too many for me. So there you go. One less thing I'm going to do. I know that over the last week, I took a couple of video games off my phone that just seemed to suck time. I would let myself get distracted by playing those games instead of doing things I should do. So I just spent the last week not having them available, and hopefully that's going to help break that habit. But that'll happen not just with time, but what are you going to eat instead of what you ate last year for trying to lose weight? What are you going to read this year instead of maybe what you read last year? Who are you going to hang around instead of perhaps who you hung around with last year? What aren't you going to do in 2022 that is going to free up resources, time, energy to help you accomplish what you want to accomplish in 2022? It's worth the thought. It's worth some time. And it's worth taking some uncomfortable steps. because doing what you did last year is not going to help you have a different year this year than you had last year. There's my profound statement for the day. Hope you go out and have a win anyway Monday as you start your win anyway New Year. Talk to you tomorrow on Win Anyway Live.